Ahava blessings. Welcome to this episode of Embodying the Shekhinah. This podcast is here to guide and support us during these times of accelerating energy, to awaken further, to embody, to integrate, and to remember our soul essence. I am your host. My name is Aurea. I am an ordained Magdalene priestess, a Reiki master, energy and sound alchemist. And today, we're going to talk about this fiery energy that is the spring equinox. Woo! I woke up and this energy has been building and it is super intense. We are also in the middle of two planetary retrogrades, Venus and Mercury. We're in the window between the eclipses and it's intense. There is so much energy, so let's get into it. So the spring equinox. In the southern hemisphere, it is the autumnal equinox. Equinoxes are earth portals. They are earth energy. I don't know if this best word is holidays, but they are portals of earth energy where we can align with harmony, with balance, with alignment, with purity, with purification. And this is a time that our ancestors, the ancients, they venerated. They lived and worked with the cycles. And that is something that as a collective humanity, we are so divorced from the cycles. Even just what is that they just did? Daylight savings. Even that brings us out of harmony with the earth. So these, whatever you want to call them, the powers that are basically struggling at this point to maintain control over humanity. I think it's amusing that they're still trying so hard, but bless them. Maybe they will evolve, maybe they won't. But these energies that seek to control, manipulate, coerce, subjugate, etc., these low, dense energies, they, in a lot of ways, they benefit off of our fear, our disconnection, our disillusionment, our anxiety, all of those dense energies they're so prevalent. Like if you actually watch the news, if you listen to music, you see and you feel the energy, this energy of control. And in many ways, it's very, very subtle. But what's interesting is that it's becoming more and more overt. So these planetary portals, these earth portals, these cosmic cycles, what they do is they serve to align us with the truth, with our true nature, which is that we are infinite source, God, Goddess, infinite consciousness, expressing as a human. And this physical world is temporary. It's simply a playground. It's a training ground in a lot of ways too, for us to expand, for the soul to expand and embody, to remember who we are, our true nature, that we are connected with everything and everything is connected with us. So our ancestors had it right. They knew the cycles. They worked with the cycles, with the days of the week, the fire wheel, with the lunar cycles, the water wheel, with the earth cycles, the earth wheel. They worked with the air, the zodiacal frequencies. They worked with the angelic realms, the ethers, the wheel of the ethers. So in the lineage that I share, the lineage of the desert mystics and teachers, Mother Mary, Grandmother Anna, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, this is the lineage that in a lot of ways it deeply aligns with the indigenous cultures all over the world. And yes, I know in some places the native traditions have been pretty pretty much co-opted and taken over by, in some cases, the Roman Catholic Church. But what I find amazing is how so many people are going back to the source. They are all going back. They're seeking ancient wisdom, because the ancient wisdom is just as applicable now as it was thousands and thousands of years ago. In many ways, it's actually far more advanced than our limited perspective, because over the last 2,000 years, we as a collective, we have been conditioned to live in a box. We have been conditioned to give away our power. We have been conditioned to seek outside of ourselves for that connection, that fulfillment, and that union that we get from our union with the divine. It is that is the beloved. If you read the poetry of the great Sufi mystics, or even Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, you hear time and time again they speak of this union with the divine, this beloved lover relationship, this divine union template that Yeshua and Mary Magdalene embodied, and how it comes into oneness. And this is what we are integrating within ourselves. And by aligning with the cycles, by aligning with the equinoxes, by aligning with the lunar cycles, learning about the days of the week, however you begin, it might be easier to just go with the phases of the moon, with the new and the full moon and the equinoxes and the solstices. That might be the easiest thing. But however that begins for you, it's beautiful to take this time to come into alignment. Take this time to come back into awareness. The equinoxes are a time of equal day and equal night. They are a time of the light is coming back. We are going into the phase in the northern hemisphere where there will be more daylight. There will be more light. And I'm feeling such an awakening, such an activation of the energy, of the creation energy in the earth. And I'm also feeling the creation energy in my womb becoming very activated. Our creation energy during the winter months in the northern hemisphere, it comes to a lull. We go within. And now we're rising back up. And you may be feeling very drained, very tired. You may be feeling very active. You may have spurts of in between. Sometimes you're super tired. Sometimes you're very active. You may be feeling a lot of old stuff may be coming up as well. I know for me it is. There's old things that are coming up that if it's coming up for you, whatever that it is, I'm asking that you trust that whatever is coming up to be healed. The veil is very thin. During eclipses, the veil is incredibly thin. During these earth portals, the veil is thin. So the veil is really thin. We have the ability now to access higher wisdom if we choose it. And since we're closing off, we're still in the lunar cycle of Pisces Adar, which is the cycle that started the last new moon. And it's the cycle of transformation of negativity into light, of really uniting, of dissolving the ego and coming back into your awareness of yourself as an infinite being. This is Pisces. Pisces is the energy that wants to dissolve into the all, into the cosmic quantum, the God. Like Pisces wants to unify and just merge with the divine. That's the energy that is happening at this time. But the energy is shifting. We're going into the Aries portal. And in Aries, we have that fiery energy of action, of getting things done. So during this equinox, this energy is really intense. I encourage you to take the time to, even if it's a plant, all you have is one little plant, nurture and connect with that plant. If you have the ability to go out in nature, to receive the rays of the sun, to go to the beach, to go into the woods, allow yourself the space to connect with the earth. The earth is a very powerful teacher. She's very powerful, and she's so wise, and she is protecting us at all times. She is supporting us. Everything that we need, she gives us. All of the medicine, all of that comes from the earth, the food, all of it comes from the earth and the sun and the cycles, everything. When we are disconnected from the intuitive wisdom that exists within us, when we know how to work with the cycles, we in many ways rob ourselves of a full experience of our humanity. And not to mention that, we give power to energies that, they cancel, clear, delete. We're not going to give them any more power. So during this equinox, we can align more deeply with our truth. We can purify, shed the layers of what needs to be let go. And something came up that I thought was very important. I'm going to share it here. We must let go of the victim mentality. If we find ourselves constantly saying, I'll try, I can't, I wish. What's the other one? There was another one. I can't, I'll try, I wish. It'll come to me. What we are saying is we are programming our subconscious to believe that we can't, to believe that something is trying and therefore impossible, to believe that we are lacking when we wish for something. It is implied that we don't have it. And that adds to the separation. That adds to our disempowerment. And it's time for us to take and reclaim our power back. And it's not a reclamation, it's not a taking. It's a coming back into knowing that we are sovereign, we are whole, we are complete. There is nothing outside of us that defines us. It's funny, like in this Aquarian age, we've gotten so hung up on labels. We must identify as something. And all of that is bullshit. It's bullshit because anything that is created in the human mind is therefore limited. So all these labels do is limit your ability to connect with the divine, limit your ability to connect with your soul. And if you cannot connect with your soul, if you cannot connect with the divine, how can you connect with another human being? Riddle me this. How can we truly connect and create a harmonious, loving world if we are constantly married to labels that don't exist? All of these labels, all of this earthly nonsense does not exist. It exists here in the physical realm, but in terms of our soul, it's not real. It's a lie. And so many of us go through life, and there are coaches that continue to perpetuate this cycle. Many of us go through life thinking that we must do what our family tells us, what we were born into, what society dictates, what our education is, etc. We're taught that we are defined by the money in the bank, by our education, by our creed, our religion, whatever, it doesn't matter. But that's not who we are. And the more that we attach ourselves to something that is illusory, it doesn't exist in the real sense of the infinite consciousness, infinite, abundant, universal life force, God, Goddess, it doesn't exist. We chose it. Yes, absolutely, we chose it. So we could experience what it would be like to live as whatever. We chose it. But we chose it so we could also remember that we can transcend it at any point in time. And that is where the sticking point is. If you identify with something, you basically claim it as your own, and you close off the possibility of transforming. So just as if we say, if we're constantly going around and we have some illness and we say, I have this, we're basically identifying as that illness, taking it on as our own. And when you take something on as your own, what you're doing is you're reaffirming that illness. So even if you say you want to heal and you think you're doing all of the right things, simply by, in your mind, in your words, in your energy field, having that association and that marriage to that situation, to that illness, you are preventing yourself from healing. You're preventing yourself from expanding. And now is the time. The veil is thin. We can transform. We can allow ourselves to receive higher wisdom. However, we have to be willing. We have to be willing to receive that higher wisdom. Because if we aren't willing to receive the higher wisdom, then we're not going to see it. So actually my friend and my teacher mentioned this, and she mentioned that she feels that the veil is lifting from a lot of people, but that it's being strengthened in others. So if someone wants to continue to live in duality, that the energy is reinforcing that. And it's really sad to me, because if you choose to and continue to reinforce that game of duality, there's only two outcomes. Like, there's a finite number. There really is no expansion. In the true essence of it, there's no expansion. There's no growth. There's just going through the same loop, the same cycle, the same hamster wheel. It's just continuing to run in that same circle. And for my soul, there's nothing exciting about that. There's nothing. Yes, life as I have clearly chosen it is challenging, and sometimes has dark nights of the soul, oftentimes has dark nights of the soul. And there's a lot of transformation and shedding and rebirthing, and oftentimes that's painful. But it's so much more rewarding. It's so much more invigorating to live and continue to strip away the veils and the layers of ego, and really live as authentically as possible. Live as true to my soul and what my soul came here to share and to birth. That is so much more exhilarating, and it makes me want to get up in the morning. I can't imagine living another way. So if you're listening to me, most likely you're the same way. You want to feel passionate about your life, and you do different things to give you that, to feed. It's not to give it to you. It's to nourish that internal huba, that internal fire that we have, that flame, that sacred flame of the divine, the flame of desire that is the desire of your soul. We nourish it. So some of us nourish it with meditation, others with practices, others nourish it by interacting with the people that we love, others nurture it with nature, with traveling, with being in stillness is probably the best way. And since we are in the Lenten season right now, we're I think at day 17, as I'm going through the journey myself. And it's a powerful time to really surrender. So during this equinox, this is a beautiful time to surrender. Really go within and take stock. What needs to be let go of? What is serving you? What is not serving you? What is bringing you into deeper fulfillment and alignment with your soul and your passion and your purpose? And let go of what isn't. We weren't here. We were not born to live someone else's life, to live according to someone else's belief system. We weren't. That's not what we are here to do. We are here to expand. We are here to grow. We are here to change. We are here to experience. We are here to evolve. And we are here to do it joyfully. We are here to enjoy every minute of it. And don't be so hard on yourself. The equinox also reminds us that even the earth, in her cycles, she goes through phases. And there's only 2 points in time in the year where she's completely balanced. And it's on the equinoxes when she is balanced. So don't be hard on yourself. We're not supposed to be perfect. I have a Virgo moon. My challenge is perfection, or has been perfection. I think I somehow managed to rein that in a bit. But we're not here to be perfect. We're here to expand, to grow, to evolve, to experience life, to enjoy, to transform, to transcend. And now we have the opportunity to transcend and unify polarities and duality within us. So this day, when there is equal light and equal dark, take the time to purify, to unify the parts of yourself that you feel are at odds, that you feel are disjointed and somehow not connected. Now is the time to align, to know that there are moments where we will not be in alignment, and that's fine. But we can always come back to the heart. We can always come back to the soul. We can always come back to our oneness. That is the one thing that no matter how many labels you put on people, it doesn't change who they are. No matter how many labels we place on ourselves, they're just labels. Our true nature, that is infinite, and that doesn't change. Our true essence is eternal. It is unchanging. It is infinite consciousness. It is oneness. It is beauty. It is grace. It is infinite love. It is unconditional love. And that is who we are. In this physical world, this is just, it's just an illusion that we chose to inhabit in order to forget our infiniteness, just so we can remember, so we can come back into union, come back into oneness, come back into our infinite consciousness, and to know that that is our truth, and to embody and live from that perspective. So, hug a tree, hug several trees. I got some new roses. So I planted my roses and I played in the dirt last night. And I always feel so good when I have my hands, and I'm probably one of these weirdos that I will put my bare hands in the dirt with rings, doesn't matter. And then I'll just, wash my hands after. But I love the feel of the earth. And if I get to drum with my roses, with my olive tree, if I get to sing to them, as I was singing to them while I was planting my new roses, that feels perfect to me. And so however you want to connect to the earth, I urge you to connect to the earth today. Whether it's through meditation, beautiful sound activation is the companion for this episode. Whether it is through going for a hike, going for a walk in nature, sitting with your bare feet or your bare bum on the earth, really allow yourself to connect to the energy. She is very awake. The earth, Gaia, Pachamama, is very awake. Now she's ready to go. So take the time and send her an offering. If you have a tree that you really love, bring some wine to the tree, or bring a little bit of water, or make an offering. Maybe it's a crystal and you just bring a crystal. I remember when I was in Ireland, we would ask permission before we entered a stone circle. We would ask even when we went up to the Cailleach, her site. There's a hawthorn. I think it was a hawthorn. And we would go to that tree first and ask permission from the land. And that's another thing that I really would encourage you to go back to. Connect with your home. Connect with the land beneath your feet. So many times we take from the land, we don't even bother to ask. We take from our plants, our herbs, we don't ask. Take the time to ask, or to say, okay, I'm going to trim this branch, and then feel which one wants to be trimmed, because sometimes there are certain parts of the plant that want to be trimmed and other parts don't. Take the time to connect with the being, whether it's a plant, whether it's a rock, whether it's a tree, whether it's the ocean. Take the time to connect, to speak to the spirits of the land. The spirits of the land will hear you, and they will honor you for remembering them. We need to come back into remembrance of the sacredness of our connection to the earth. Out of all of the planets we could have incarnated on, and some of us probably incarnate on multiple dimensions and planets, but that being said, one of them is here. This is one of them. This is one planet that we are here, and we are here to connect with Gaia. We are here to respect her waters, to respect her mountains, to respect her land. And even if it's one little herb plant that you have, sing to it, connect with it. It has a frequency. Everything has a frequency, a resonance. If it attracts you, it's because it's in harmonious vibration with you. It's in harmonic resonance. Allow yourself to unite. And at first you might feel silly talking to a plant. I talk to them all the time. The plants have a lot of wisdom to share. The trees are our guardians. The earth has wisdom to share. Connect. Allow yourself to connect. We must come back to this reverence, this respect, and this remembering the symbiotic relationship that we have with Gaia. She is a sentient being, and she is ascending, and she's going through a lot because she's birthing a new earth, and we're birthing it with her. And it's not meant to be easy, but it is meant to be joyful if we choose it. The veils are meant to be stripped away, but we have to be willing to see beyond the veil. Many of us, even with our intuition, we ask our intuition one thing, but our entire being is so married to one outcome that we don't get the real answer. And then we wonder what's wrong with our intuition. No, it's that you weren't really listening. You were not open to receiving the information that was really there for you. You just wanted to see what you wanted to see. So are we in the space where we are only looking for that which confirms and reaffirms our perspective? Or are we looking for true wisdom, truth, for expansion? Because truth and wisdom can only come from, expansion can only come from truth and wisdom, the true pursuit of truth and wisdom. Because if not, we're just going to remain in our bubble. If we're not willing to truly see, if we're not willing to truly receive, if we're not willing to expand, if we're not willing to change and transform, we are only going to be birthing more of the same. And if that's your choice, Godspeed. And is that really what we're supposed to be doing now? The earth is shifting. The cycles are pointing us into deeper and deeper alignment and awareness and ripping off the veils in some cases. Are we allowing ourselves to transform with her? Or are we going to shift into some dimension where we're no longer a part of the great transformation that is happening. It's all up to us. And that just came to me. So I wonder, if we die in this world, I wonder if we die in all dimensions. Don't know why that just came to me. But I'm wondering, like, do you phase out of timelines that are no longer in resonance with your soul's expansion? That's something to scramble your head. That's definitely something to scramble your head. So in essence, do we ever really die? Or does only a part of ourselves die, go through that death, but we are constantly being reborn as we continue to expand? That's an interesting, very, very interesting. Don't know why that came to me, but since it came to me now, I figured I would share that with you and let you, you guys attempt to wrap your head around that, because I certainly am. I'm like, that's an interesting thought. Equinoxes, very, very powerful portals. So the equinox energy, it is potent, and it is, so new moons and full moons are usually they're about 2 to 3 days before and after, depending on the strength of that moon, of that lunation. Earth portals, you can feel them 5 days before, 5 days after. You might even feel them as much as a week, especially if it's like in between, like this is eclipse season, so everything is like so jumbled together. And oh my God, just wait till I break down the new moon in Aries, which is next week's episode, because I looked at the astrology, the chart for it, and I'm like, oh my God. No wonder everything is so jumbled up and so intense. That's what we're going into. So, but tune in next week. I will share that information with you. But yeah, in this moment, so be here now. Let's not jump ahead. Let's be here now. And in this moment, we are aligning with the spring equinox, with the autumnal equinox of Aurea in the southern hemisphere, and we are aligning with harmony, with balance, with alignment, with purification, with the rebirth of the light, and with the shedding of whatever needs to be let go of in order for us to align and embody our soul and our light more fully, for us to come into direct union, divine union with the beloved, with the divine, with our soul, with all aspects of ourselves. Have a blessed, blessed spring equinox. Don't forget to tune in to the sound activation. If you enjoyed this, like, share, subscribe, and I will, don't forget, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can find me on YouTube at Aurea Lara. I share longer format videos there, and on Instagram, and at Embodying the Shekhinah at Aurea Lara. Everything is linked below. I attempt to share shorter videos, but I'm not very good for short content. So it will be shorter than YouTube, but it's not going to be, like here, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I just don't. Wisdom doesn't come in 30-second spurts. Sorry, it just doesn't in my head. So if you would like to connect with me, please feel free to follow me on those platforms as well. And I thank you for your attention, for your time, for joining me in this little rabbit hole where we go into the energies of this equinox. And don't forget to tune into the sound activation. It's really lovely, and it's a joy for me to be able to share these beautiful crystal alchemy singing bowls with you guys. Have a blessed Ostara, blessed day of the goddess, a blessed day, and blessings on this equinox. Ahava.